जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव राधे जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय कृष्णा बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय प्रभुपदा शील प्रभुपदा नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदी Reading from Prabhupada, your ever well-wisher, by His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj. Let there be a temple, part 2. Prabhupada again supervised the annual meeting of his governing body commission and personally approved or modified all their decisions. ISKCON was indeed growing, but as Prabhupada had told his friend, the aged Gopal Acharya in Madras, Krishna and Krishna's institution are non-different. If the devotees are thinking of Krishna's institution, they will not forget Krishna. By insisting on the devotees' participation in the annual India pilgrimage, Prabhupada was solidifying the spiritual basis of ISKCON, his transcendental institution. To gather his devotees like this was the reason he had prayed and struggled to erect centers in the dhams. He wanted to extend the purifying shelter of Mayapur and Vrindavan to all his followers, now and in the future. Bit by bit, the plan was coming together. The whole world was being saved by Lord Chaitanya's movement. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Yeah, we are so fortunate to actually, indeed, tremendously fortunate to experience a prophecy in the making, to experience and live a prophecy in the making. What Bhaktivinoda Thakur professed, what Srila Prabhupada could envision and all, and it is all now coming true. It is all now coming true. The Temple of Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur. And what a blessing to be witnessing this happening, sheer fortune altogether. And if we can take part in Mahaprabhu's mission, nothing like this. If we can engage ourselves in Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, Shida Mayapur ki. So we will continue studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Today's text is Canto 6, Chapter 16, chapter entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. And today's text is text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Visaya Trisho Narapashavo Vishaya Trisho Narapashavo Ya Upasate Vibhutir Na Param Tvam Ya Upasate Vibhutir Na Param Tvam Tesham Ashisha Isha Tesham Ashisha Isha Tad Anu Vinashyanti Yatha Rajakulam Tadanu Vinashyanti Yatha Rajakulam Vishaya Trisho Narapashavo Ya Upasate Vibhutir Na Param Tvam Teshamashisha Isha Tadanu Vinashyanti Yatha Rajakulam Vishaya Trisho Narapashavo Ya Upasate Vibhutir Na Param Tvam Teshamashisha Isha Tadanu Vinashyanti Yatha Rajakulam. Please stand. Vishaya Trishanara Pasavo य उपासते विभूतिर्न परं त्वां तेषामाशिष ईश तदनु विनश्यन्ति यथा राजकुलम् विषयतृषनरपशवो य उपासते विभूतिर्न परं त्वां तेषामाशिष ईश तदनु विनश्यन्ति यथा राजकुलम् विषयतृष eager to enjoy sense gratification. Narapashava, men like animals. Ye, who, upasate, worship very gorgeously. Vibhuti, small particles of the Supreme Lord, the demigods. Na, not. Param, the Supreme. Tvam, you. Tesham, of them. Ashisha, the benedictions. Isha, O Supreme Controller. Tat, them, the demigods. Anu, after. Vinashyanti, will be vanquished. Yatha, just as. Rajakulam, those who are supported by the government when the government is finished. Translation in purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. O Lord, O Supreme, unintelligent persons who thirst for sense enjoyment and who worship various demigods are no better than animals in the human form of life. Because of their animalistic propensities, they fail to worship your lordship, and instead they worship the insignificant demigods who are but small parts of your glory. With the destruction of the entire universe, including the demigods, the benedictions received from the demigods also vanish. Just like the nobility when a king is no longer in power. Purport. Bhagavad Gita 7:20 says, Kamestestir rite jnana prapadyante anya devata. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods. Similarly, this verse condemns worship of the demigods. We may show our respect to the demigods, but the demigods are not worshipable. The intelligence of those who worship the demigods is lost, Rita Jnana. Because these worshippers do not know that when the entire material cosmic manifestation is annihilated, the demigods, who are the departmental heads of that manifestation, will be vanquished. When the demigods are vanquished, the benedictions given by the demigods to unintelligent men will also be vanquished. Therefore, a devotee should not hanker to obtain material opulence by worshipping the demigods, but should engage in the service of the Lord, who will satisfy all his desires. Akama sarva kamava moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajete purusham param. Whether full of all material desires, free from material desires, or desiring liberation, a person who has broader intelligence must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10. This is the duty of a perfect human being, one who has the shape of a human being, but whose actions are nothing but those of an animal, is called Narapashu or Dvipadapashu, a two-legged animal. A human being who is not interested in Krishna consciousness is condemned herewith as Narapashu. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपा बुधिर्य तमहं प्रपद्ये karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yat kripatamham bande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu vaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kindly bless us so we can relish Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are blessed to have the company of Renas as well, and he can help us tremendously. Say, you're studying electrical engineering, right? How many centers are there in a circle? Centers in a circle. How many centers are there in a circle?
Just one. Right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Circle will only be full or complete with one center only if it has got only one center. Likewise, God is singular. The center of my life is also God, Radha Krishna, Shri Radha Krishna. God is singular. There's only one center. If I try to come up with any more than one center, there's going to be conflict. There's bound to be conflict. And human life is meant now to search out that center, to search out that center. So, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Vedic literature, all the revealed literature tell us this only. Center is one. Even if we see Bible or Quran or some other say revealed scriptures, they tell us God is one. Hmm. Uh, Center is one only of our life. And now Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now human life is meant to inquire, where is that center? Where is that center? Bhagavad Gita is what? Bhagavad Gita is a personal identification of Krishna. Uh, Biography or autobiography, such is the kindness of Krishna, Krishna revealing himself to us for our benefit, helping us understand, look who is the center of your life. Check out who is the center of your life. Now, one may take Bhagavad Gita, say, yes, as a theoretical textbook, also fine to begin with, and now put it into practice. The principles, the tenets of Bhagavad Gita has to be put into practice in the association of devotees. I believe this is how somewhat science also works in this manner, right? There is some proposal or some proposition or some offer and some theoretical theory, something to attract, and then okay, uh, learned people they assemble where in some laboratory and the places of their work, and they have their apparatus using which they using their apparatus and their equipments, and they try to measure and understand the report and all, and then somewhat come towards a conclusion. But science is also very secular, very nicely secular, very politically perhaps correct, or in a polished way secular as such. It may be inferred, it is observed, or it is seen, or it seems like, it looks like, we believe the data shows enough evidence, something more furthermore. But no one dares to claim. No one dares to claim. Uh, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada openly, right? Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Pratyakshvagamam Dharmam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Raja Vidya Rajguhyam. Na? Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita 9 to 9.2, Krishna says, the translation in purport, Krishna consciousness is an open secret. Now, again, say this is a question. How do we understand if something is open as well and secret as well? How can it be simultaneously open and a secret? That is Krishna consciousness. Krishna is present everywhere. But yet, is he not a mystery to us? Is he not a mystery to me? He's present everywhere. Us sadhakas, we have faith. Now that is an open secret. Something right in the open, very clear, kind of very clear for me to even beyond say whatever I am asking, even more, but yet a secret. So for a sadhaka, one should check where is the missing link. Somewhere there is some missing link. Otherwise, how can it just be an open secret? It need not be a secret. Why would Krishna want to hide himself for us? Why would Krishna want to not reveal himself for us, to us? He wouldn't want us to be just caught up in word jugglery or mind jugglery. Srimad Bhagavatam is not at all word jugglery or mind jugglery or any form of jugglery. We were seeing the other day devotees had gone to Glasgow city center, and Adokshaja Prabhu took us for Harinam and book distribution. And there was a gentleman in Glasgow city center. There was big distance, right? There were some sort of equipments constructed, and fire was lit up, and he was trying to pass from one to the other, and good crowd was settled there. Yeah. Anyway, so life is not meant for such sort of jugglery or such sort of hallucination or illusion. Uh, Very clear crystal Srimad Bhagavatam says. And see the beauty of Prabhupada's classes. One may find very offended by Prabhupada's classes, perhaps. One may find a bit, perhaps, say, hurt or upset by Prabhupada's classes. But heavy, strong is nothing. Nothing is like heavy or strong. It depends on one's consciousness. It depends on what my consciousness is like. What is there heavy or what is there strong as such? It depends on how much kind of am I able to take in. Wherever, if I'm struggling in terms of application, one should study nectar of instruction. If I'm struggling in terms of application, and Krishna consciousness is so vast, one need not just succumb it to a religion, or need not just succumb it to just like, okay, this is my spiritual life. It is applicable for student life, married life, whatever, job life, jobless life, throughout. So if one wants to understand how to apply the tenets, the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam, one should study Nectar of Instruction in the Association of Devotees. Coming back again, Prabhupada, one may find his talks a bit strong or perhaps light. Well, those who are in tuned or trying to be in tuned heart to heart with Prabhupada, they just relish it. They love it. Yes, Prabhupada, bring it more. Expose. So, Nectar of Instruction says what? Confidence, patience, and enthusiasm. So, having a bit of a confidence, we go with some confidence and try to be patient. Enthusiasm will come about. The message of Krishna consciousness will come about, rather than very discarding, say, Prabhupada's teachings. So, but the beauty of Prabhupada's classes, if we see, the beauty of his classes, transcendental knowledge altogether, no messing about, no messing about. And human life is too short, the sooner we realize it. So, need not beat about the bush. Prabhupada never messed about. Uh, when he came to the Western world, there was something related to accent, Prabhupada's accent, and Prabhupada also had a bit of a struggle understanding American European accents. But there was little bit of accent barrier. Culturally, as such, not a barrier, not a huge barrier culturally. Perhaps in the sense the Americans understood he's a monk, a Swami, and all, and he has his requirements and lifestyle and things. And Prabhupada also visionary, pure visionary. So now, if we see his classes full of transcendental knowledge, could be cutting, and truth has to be cutting. What they say, truth is bitter. Truth is bitter. Why truth is bitter? Truth is truth. It is because I am living very casually, so truth appears to be bitter. Otherwise, why to blame truth? Truth is truth in itself. Because I am too overpowered by sense enjoyment. Uh, Translation says what? O Lord, O Supreme, unintelligent persons who thirst for sense enjoyment. So there is no space. Leave Krishna consciousness. Leave Krishna. There's nothing safe for now. There's nothing like Krishna consciousness. There's no space in this world, in this universe, in any society, anyone. There's no space for someone to be lazy and crazy. Not just Krishna consciousness, in life general. For someone to be lazy and crazy. And this is Prabhupada's teachings. So someone who is thirsty for sense enjoyment, oh, he's bitten. He's bitten by this disease and bug, crazy. And he would be haunted by Maya then. So Prabhupada's class is very, very absolute truth, very powerful, very full of knowledge, clear knowledge. But the beauty of his class is in the his personal dealings uh, is what every class is sealed by humility. Every of his interactions and all, everything is sealed by his humility. It's not just like Prabhupada never had a stab at anyone. No particular agenda. Oh, Prabhupada is a Swami, a renounced monk. This should be the duty of a renounced monk to expose the reality, to bring out the reality, to bring out the real truth, to bring out Radha Krishna. And that is what Prabhupada did. Exactly. And not again, not any egoistic sense. So this verse, the translation purport, for someone it may appear to be heavy, some whatever heavy or strong is again we can see one's level of faith perhaps. But us practicing Krishna consciousness, we we definitely don't have any license to have a go at someone, to have a go at someone holding any placard, chant Hare Krishna, or else suffer in hell for eternity. Thankfully, devotees don't preach like that also. So it doesn't give any license to dehumanize someone, but the truth has to be brought out, and it will be very nicely taken about when it is sealed with humility. Same treatment Krishna did to Arjuna. Same treatment we see Narad Muni also did to Vyasdev. Vyasdev wrote so many literatures, but he was still unsatisfied. He wasn't happy. He wasn't clear. He was quite confused. And same Narad Muni did to Parikshit Maharaj, Sukhdev Goswami. So much of nurturing, so much of nourishing. So center is one only. So many things we see in from nature, lots of learning. So now to find out the center of my life, who is the center of my life? Now, when we chant the holy names of Krishna, before chanting the holy names of Krishna, we read the 10 offenses to help protect us, to safeguard us, our Bhakti Lata Beej se. Now, and if we go in the order, say it is the second offense, right? To uh, consider Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu, say. So, to recognize someone as an independent authority is very offensive mentality. That is transgression. Currently, Nicola Sturgeon, she's still holding the prime minister position. Apparently, I think she's resigned, but still she's transferring over her duties. Now, even in this situation or in general, if someone says that Shishikorantai Mayapur Sashi Ki Jai. So now, even someone claims that actually I am the prime minister or I am the independent authority. Now the person could be whatever cabinet minister, but if he or she claims, that is a very offense. It is a very offensive thing, and person would have to face the consequences of it. Likewise, if I claim or if I see that someone, a demigod, is independent of the will, of the power, of the potency of Lord Vishnu. Now, to take someone in that light is very dangerous. And it is not the fault of Lord Brahma, definitely no. Not the fault of Lord Shiva, definitely no. Not the fault of potentially Lord Indra as well. But it is a fault on my part. Why? Because I'm not able to understand Krishna consciousness. I'm not taking Vaishnava association as I deem to be. Again, on the circle of life, say, na? The circle of life. The circle has only one center. And for a conditioned soul, the circle of his life is what? Avidya, ignorance, and sinful reaction. It is ignorance which leads one to commit sin. And when one commits sin, one goes further in ignorance. And that's the circle. Heavy circle, big circle. So we shouldn't take it just lightly, the 8.4 million species of life. Nothing is like made up. No, cannot be taken just for granted or just casually. Now, human life is meant to break this circle. Human life is meant to break this circle of what? Ignorance and then sin. Now, some are more in the circle of what? Some sort of culture wise, some piety, doing some piety and living a life of regulation, a mode of goodness. Huh? But that is also a circle. That is also a circle. And we want to be living a life of transcendental circle, which doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy. The real stumbling block is offenses, heavy. Uh, the real stumbling block. Sin is one thing, but offenses is cannot be compared actually. Sinful reaction and offenses, they cannot be compared. They are very, the weight of offense and the weight of sinful reactions, they just cannot be compared. Human life is meant to be intelligent. A human is considered to be intelligent, or human should be intelligence. Now, intelligence, one should find out the circle of his life. And God is singular. There would be chaos if God becomes multiple, say. Why is there chaos in my life currently? I have multiple leaders. Who are the multiple leaders? Sometimes my mind becomes the leader. Sometimes my intelligence becomes the leader. Sometimes my egoistic desire becomes the leader. Sometimes my senses become the leader. When does the soul proper become the leader? Perhaps not yet has become the true leader. This is why no true glory as well, cheap glory then. Multiple leaders will lead to chaos, mind and intelligence. That doesn't mean what Krishna consciousness teaches is how to align the mind, the intelligence, the ego, the desires, our actions, our thoughts, everything in one line, and towards Lord Shri Krishna. One line, one direction. That direction towards Lord Shri Krishna. One could still be one line, but if the direction is not towards Lord Shri Krishna, then self-centeredness. That yes, I'm very clear in my mind, in my intelligence, in my ego, in my desires, in my action, in my thoughts, in my overall existence, but not at all pointing towards Lord Krishna. Then it is self-centeredness. very heavy, very heavy. As it goes subtle, the power goes even stronger, and the potency to make mistake also heavy. The responsibility also heavy. As it goes finer and finer and subtle. So those who are heavily fixed up in their Mayavad conclusion, those who have taken it as the all and all, Sammam Bhumyan, the conclusion, the Mayavadi nihilistic theory. Now, if someone is progressing very fast or very fixed up in that consciousness, in that subtle consciousness, then wow, leading towards very dangerous path. The last snare of Maya, Prabhupada writes, right, is that Maya will make you become God. Maya will make you think that you are God. That's the last snare of Maya. So, someone, again, a question, uh, and this is in a for us. All this is for a sadhaka to realize. All this for a sadhaka. We are practicing Krishna consciousness, right? So, this is all for us to grab, to help in our practice of Krishna consciousness, to help us in our attitude, in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So, if we are stuck, if we are stuck somewhere, say in forest, and there is a deep forest and some wild animals and no food and weather is also not fine. And on the other side of the road, say we see a board, what? Uh, Mayavad center, something. What should one sadhaka prefer? Or if we are stuck in material sense enjoyment, city center Glasgow, city center Edinburgh, city center London. You know the problem is cities. And in cities, where is the problem? In the city center, the hub. It spreads from the center. The vibrations go from the center. Solution is where? Where I fix up my center. There is the solution. Shri Shri Radha Krishna. And when I chant Maha Mantra, then that vibration will also go and give me a different energy. Then while living in London city center, Glasgow city center, Edinburgh city center, or Aberdeen city center, one won't be influenced by that energy. Krishna conscious practitioner, Prabhupada wants us to be giver, to be a real giver. So it is identifying the problem, finding the correct ultimate solution. So if someone is stuck in forest, say, on one side is dense forest, another side we find Mayavad center, or one side is a forest of say material sense enjoyment, heavy. Another side we find Mayavad center. What should say human being choose actually? It's definitely much better to be in material sense enjoyment than to be stuck up uh, with some faulty association, with some offensive association. Because if I am stuck up in material sense enjoyment, at the most, what I will be doing is sinning. At the most, my consciousness level I will be living a temporary bodily identity and go towards sinning. Some sort of there could be scope for some offenses as well. Seeing monks and all, I might not feel very respectful towards them, but still. But if I am taking actively association of Mayavad, impersonalism, and nihilism, then I would be very influenced by the speech and the talk and everything. And that would be more detrimental for the consciousness. What to say, the body? This is again so tremendously mic that okay, one sees, well, my body is also becoming decent, as in I'm following good regulations now. I'm living a very much healthy lifestyle. I'm practicing spirituality. But where does this consciousness level lead altogether? Finally, to starting practicing spirituality. But where does it lead? There's no spiritual existence of God. Very dangerous path to travel. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. No, um there's nothing to hide or say run away for that matter. Now human form of life is given. How do we shape it up? And it is not like demigods are not required. They are required and they are very good. They are very helpful. They are perhaps properly situated in their place. I am not properly situated in my place. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogina yajate purusham param. Actually, we see this chapter, second canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is text, and how it progresses is beautiful. Uh, Goswami, Sukdev Goswami narrates that if someone wants a good wife, worship such and such demigod. If someone wants good health, worship this and such demigod. If someone wants good money, worship such and such demigod. If someone wants this and someone wants that. But if someone wants love, who to worship? If someone wants pure love, who to worship? So then Sukdev Goswami says, well, akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. People in Kali Yuga, we do not like taking many boxes, right? It's like, oh, the form should be short. Uh, Prabhu, keep class short as well. Attention span is low. Everything like quick. And can you not just give me one thing, one take, and then everything settled? So that is here. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaridi. We don't have to knock in many departmental heads. We just knock at the door of Krishna. Say, you don't have to knock many departmental heads and all. So, if we want actually love in life, and the saturation of the soul is in pure love only, is only in pure love. And many other places in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we see all the purposes of a well are served very nicely by ocean. All the purposes. So all the purposes of worship and all is everything served in Krishna Bhakti. Everything comes about in Krishna Bhakti. Now, like well, we need water, okay, for washing clothes, then separately for cooking, then separately for shower, bath, separately for some garden work and some tidying and cleaning and all. But in the ocean, that there's no lack, there's no scarcity, there's vast amount. Take whatever you like and use it for multiple all purposes. Everything can be used very nicely. Likewise, in Krishna Bhakti, everything is there. If we study Chaitanya Chaitamrita, if we study Srimad Bhagavad Gita, if we study Srimad Bhagavatam, just what is needed, association of devotee. That is what is needed. वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम् अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपेति चाद्यम्. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 8:28 that Arjuna, such a great representative, that Krishna, if I pass in morning time, this time, the yogis, they would like to pass on such certain times and certain periods of the year and all. And there are people, many people, who do fasting and some worship and all. Generally, the thought could be, oh, if I do not do, something wrong will happen to me. If I do not go to church, something wrong will happen to me. If I do not do this prayer, something wrong will happen. Or what does YouTube Maharaj also shows, right? Do this mantra for 21 days and see money will come. Do this worship for 31 days and see good sleep will come. All these things sort of. So it is not a fear based practice. And Krishna says then, like whatever one is practicing or doing, in Krishna Bhakti, everything is covered, everything will come about. Everything. We don't have to go somewhere yet. There's departmental heads required for us actually to function properly. So that we actually acknowledge someone as an authority, someone is superior, there's some decorum, there's some way of code of conduct, some functioning. And gradually elevate and understand. More than anyone, these are all for myself to take complete shelter of Krishna. कृष्ण भक्ति कर ले सर्व कर्म कृत होय. Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, doing Krishna Bhakti, everything comes about. All the benedictions, everything is there in Krishna Bhakti. Okay, on this note, maybe I will take a pause if there are any questions, comments, or clarifications. Or any. Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. Nice class. We have a question online from a Katrina. And she says, Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. Many nice points made. I have a question regarding humility. How can we see each person as our well-wisher, especially when they give us a heavy instruction or chastise us? How can we overcome our pride and see them without offense?
Very practical question. We have to see things in proper light as well. In the sense, our relationship, our dealings has to be very different. When we deal with, like Prabhupada said, right? When we deal with karmis, we should deal with karmis. I cannot go with a devotee head and deal with karmis. Wouldn't work. The temple, Juhu temple in Bombay is such a struggle it was. And if we just go with devotee head and all, we'll get very cheated. So depends like on this instructions and heavy sort of and how do we keep our pride aside, say, and how do we see everyone say as an agent of Krishna sent to us by Krishna. uh, uh, Something our dealings with family, friends, and those who have not yet found the resolve in Krishna consciousness has to be a bit on a separate light, say, with them. And those who are devotees, it has to be on a very different trajectory. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us what? That the way we worship the deities, we should be worshipping Vaishnavas also the same way. That is the to coming into fast track devotional service. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. We want Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Tivrena means intense, very force, very powerful. You know, sometimes when sink is blocked, what is done? So sink is blocked. How do we unblock? How does the water pass then? By a strong flow of water that flush it out altogether. By a very strong flow of water. Likewise, for us to go into Tivrena, into that very strong, and no one can check actually the flow of water, no one can check the flow of, say, electricity. No, likewise, no one can check the flow of love. No one can check the flow of love. Mirabai, she had immense love for Krishna, no one could check it. Others had immense love for Krishna, no one could check it. And what we need is we need someone, a guide, a friend, a mentor, a Siksha Guru, a Diksha Guru to help us come into that flow of immense love. So how to take those who come in our life, how to see them. So Bhagavad Gita Krishna teaches, right, that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Cheva Supakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Like we should be treating fairly a dog, a cow, an animal, whosoever comes. So, what is the fair treatment? When we see a cow, we should embrace a cow. We should stroke, look after a cow very nicely and everything. And when we see a lion, we should distance from lion. That is the fair respect. Uh, We should not be making distance from cows. We should be making distance from lions. So likewise, the people who come in our life, if someone is too intoxicated, too heavy, too toxic, or too jealous or envious, best we should do is stay away. Stay away from them for their betterment and stay away for our betterment as well. Until and unless we become like Lord Shiva. Of course, it's not like to becoming Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva, he see Krishna consciousness, us practicing Krishna consciousness, we preach, but essentially to humans, right? Lord Shiva preaches to humans, to ghosts, to spirits, to everyone. It's a different devotion, different caliber Lord Shiva has. So for us to sustain my Bhakti Lata Beach, I have to take distance as well, many times from people who I should be distancing. And I should bring closeness also to those people who are helping me advance in Krishna consciousness. That is then proper humility. That is proper humility. Not everyone should be entertained. And again, we will get very confused if we take instructions from many. If we take, before taking a decision, consult 10 people, say. If I've got some disease, can I afford consulting 10 doctors? Very dangerous. What will happen? Yato mat tato pat. Okay, yeah, whichever direction you want to go, all paths lead to the same goal. Or what will happen? Too many cooks spoil the broth. So it is just finding out one or two with whom I can confide and see. And then some more details of the things can be shared. Who is giving trouble? What is the trouble? Where is the trouble? What is causing the trouble? Some further details can be shared and then can be assessed and checked. Okay, keep distance or if needed, cut it, keep distance or continue. First of all, the first thing is we have to protect ourselves. We are babies, right? We are plants. We are babies. We are not trees. A tree does not need as such protection. Tree is very grown up, but we are not so grown up. So we definitely need protection. So we need to see that how can we distance ourselves from someone and how can we have some closeness with someone. But in our heart of our heart, we should never envy anyone. No one should be the object of my hatred, envy, or jealousy, or that dislike, abhor. No, that is not required. See, Krishna told Arjuna also not to fight, but to fight with the spirit of fighting, not to fight with a jealousy or envious mentality. Now, this is a passionate society wherein what? Some insight is done, some anger, some stir up, some politically stir up is done. So that, okay, take this, look what he did to you and all, and then go and fight. So when the cause, if the cause is a bit of a jealousy, hatred, and anger, then the result also will be angry, jealousy, hatred. Krishna did not advise Arjuna to fight out of jealousy or anger or that sort of hatred, to fight as a Kshatriya, to give protection. So, in our dealings, those who come, yes, we may maintain distance, we should maintain distance, but in our heart of our hearts, we should not carry any animosity towards them. And how this will come about? When we are closely associating with Vaishnavas, because in their heart of their hearts, they do not carry animosity. They carry good love, they carry proper love, they carry proper compassion. So when I realize, wow, I'm so nicely cared, looked after, nurtured, then that compassion which I am receiving will be passed on. A sadhaka won't be holding just to himself or herself, will be passing it on. And that ways, somehow relationships can be maintained and one can progress in Krishna consciousness and others can also progress in Krishna consciousness. These are some thoughts, and I don't think so. There has to be, it can be just one straight, proper answer as such, but yeah, some bare thoughts if this helps, Katrina. Okay, fine. On this note, I'll give you peace. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Oh, Bhakta Ashish Prabhu ki jai.